everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of New Beginnings. This is your host, Ferlie Almonte. This is going to be not only very informative, but truly very empowering to a lot of people whose lives were affected by, fighting in the war, family members going out there, really fighting for our freedom. Oftentimes they come back disabled, wounded, and torn into pieces. They also do not know what to do next because they struggle financially, emotionally, mentally. So many different aspects of our lives affected by that. With me today would be these incredible human beings that I also call my friends. One of them is my friend who I met from the group of Hope. HOPE stands for Helping Other Professionals Grow. This lovely lady, Shira Tiner, is the National Director of Veteran Care Services.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And also joining us is our neighbor and very good friend, the president of the Leisure Village West Veterans Club and the vice president of the state Vietnam Veteran Association. Right. So I wanted to make sure that I get that right.
Yeah.
And he is here also to share not only his experiences, but also his wisdom. He is, by the way, 5-time Purple Heart receiver. So I am surrounded by greatness and people who actually have big hearts. So welcome to the show,
Thank
Shira
you.
and Stan. So let's start with you, Stan.
Okay.
Thank you so very much for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us, where did you serve? What branch of the military did you serve?
I was in the Army. I was an Army Ranger. Went Special Forces for a while, and I was an Army Ranger primarily.
For how many years was that?
Just about 32.
32 years. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for those, lovely years of dedication to our country. Purple Heart. For those of you who do not understand what a Purple Heart signifies, what does it mean to have a Purple
It means you were wounded in combat. I gave them a lot of choices and they took it.
Yeah. So, as I've said, it's remarkable that you have served for so many years and still continue to serve, being like an advocate, right, for the veterans. All right. Thank you very much for that. Shira, my darling friend, isn't she gorgeous? Look at that. I was just telling her she should be in the movies or like a modeling career or something. But yet,
Takes one to know one.
thank you very much. And you know what? But you have chosen to help other professionals grow and at the same time serve the veterans. There's a lot of viewers right now who may not be familiar with Veteran Care Services, and so I'd love to know, what exactly do you do and who do you help?
That's a great question. So at Veteran Care Services, we specialize in veteran benefit planning and care coordination for seniors nationally. I happen to live local here in Toms River, so I do work with a lot of the community partners, the care partners, to help seniors, particularly veterans and their families, secure the benefits and resources that are available for their care in the area. What we see with veterans across the board is that they're only receiving the care they can afford, which is not always necessarily the care that they need. So we do try to bridge that gap and get them familiar with the different benefits and resources and come up with a care plan that actually makes sense for what they need.
That is an excellent point, affordability. From what I'm hearing, basically people are settling for what is available only to them based on their affordability. But how do you help them financially? How do they seek financial relief?
So Veteran Care Services, we are a private organization and we specialize in care planning. So we look at the situation as an individual, not as just, another person coming through. So for that individual, what do they need? Where do they live? What kind of family unit is involved? And we come up with a full comprehensive financial care plan that involves many moving pieces and care partners to really maximize the care that they can receive in that area.
Stan, what have you got to say about that?
Well, I agree with that, but the major problem is that the VA itself, I mean, most veterans know almost nothing about it or what it's going to do for you. Most of us, like myself included, there's nobody out there who tells you about the VA except people who went through the VA. People who helped me were people who had gotten things from the VA to begin with.
Shira?
So I always say, how do you apply for benefits that you don't even know exists? You
Exactly.
can't.
Well, you
Fear
don't
of
always.
missing out.
Well, you don't always know you need it. I
Right.
found out I had PTSD. I never thought I had it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing
How did
my
you
wife
find
knew,
out?
huh?
How did you find out?
I was lucky that way. I have a guy who's a friend of mine who became the director of the Ocean County Veterans Service Office. His name was John Doherty. And we were personal friends. And at that time, I had a computer store. And it was going bad because prices had dropped and I couldn't compete and everything else. And he said, well, I know you're getting money as far as retirement from the Army, but what are you getting besides that? And I said, nothing. So what do you mean nothing? I said, for what? He says, well, you know you got wounded. He said, yeah. Get anything for that? Just scars. That's it. That's all.
A scarf.
I never thought about it. And then I said, how about PTSD? He said, I don't have PTSD. I said, really? When was the last time you had a good night's sleep? About 20 years ago. How about this? How about that? And Tom looked and says, well, knowing John, he was probably put slightly different than I would. And he said, you're dumb. I'm going to get you the help you need. And I ended up with 100% disability.
Shira?
So first of all, thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
We really do. We work with veterans every day, and it's not always easy. And veterans are not always easy to work with.
That was true.
They don't always admit so readily the things that are wrong. So what we do is we really speak to all of the family members as well to kind of get a full picture on what's going on. We access our care partners. We work with a multitude of communities. There's many different care options that I think we're going to review a little bit today. And we come up with a plan for that family in particular. Now, you had mentioned the VA, and people have a misconception that the VA is just one entity, and they usually think you can go there, for medical, which they can. They built a beautiful community here in Toms River, the VA Medical Clinic, and to see your doctors, get your appointments, your hearing aids. There are home care services accessible through them. You can get adult day care programs, all with no out-of-pocket cost. But then the other part of the VA is the VA Pensions Department, and there are other wonderful programs that are available through them. It's just not always so easy to access, especially veterans who are World War II or Korean War veterans, and our Vietnam veterans who are mostly now over the age of 75, and they could use some assistance with navigating the processes.
Now, why did you say people find it hard to access? What do you mean by that?
So it's like any government program. Trying to get funding from the government is not always easy. People don't really know where to go to access the documentations. There's a lot of planning involved, a lot of paperwork, a lot of it, the administrative portion to applying for these things. I mean, we meet seniors who they need full-time care, and their family members, their children are in their 60s and 70s. So to even go and navigate the internet is not an available thing for some of these folks. And then you have the multitude of family members that want to be involved. So it's not always just one son or one daughter. There could be children that live in other states, and getting everyone together and on board and reviewing these resources. Families, they want to do it, but they don't have a structure or a guide to do that. And with Veteran Care Services, we provide that for them.
Oh, I love that you create a blueprint and basically a lot of hand-holding.
A lot.
Right, we are all going up in age now, and of course our veterans, you had mentioned about care, for example. We are in an active adult community. Many of our veterans will soon be needing to go to assisted living facilities or any other type of, senior care facilities. But they said, I can't afford it. So how are you able to help those veterans?
So I want to first be clear that a lot of people don't even know the difference between independent living, assisted living, and long-term care. And
Explain.
there are vast differences.
Okay.
An independent living community, you go and you pay a community fee, and you have things included like transportation, housekeeping services, and meals. That is still considered independent because no one is providing your care. They're not providing you with the shower. They're not providing you with the medication management. The next step up from that would be if, let's say, you needed help in the shower, they're using the restroom, you needed help out of the bed to be physically helped out if you're using a walker or a wheelchair, and you needed possibly medication management where someone is caring for you more on that medical side. That's when assisted living is right for that person. And all of this is when they're no longer safe at home. So obviously here, this is a beautiful community, and thank you for welcoming me here. In this community, a lot of people may want to start with home health care services, where an aide would come in, whether it's 1 or 2 times a week to start, moving forward, to provide care in the home where they can use their own shower just with a little bit of assistance. But what we're seeing now is it's expensive, and people are unaware that there are resources to help cover the costs for home care. So starting with that, staying in your home obviously is what most people want, but when someone's no longer safe at home, they may need to transition to an assisted living community. And there are a lot of really nice ones here in Ocean County and Monmouth County. And it's not the same as a nursing home. Assisted living has a multitude of activities. They're clean and beautiful, and you get your private suite, and you get your meals in the dining area, and it's a lot of them are really wonderful options, but they are expensive. Assisted living can range anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 a month. And once you're there, it's pretty much for the rest of your life that you're going to live in this community. And it's expensive, and not everyone has the luxury of being able to afford that type of care. Aftercare is no longer available or really appropriate. If that level of care goes to a higher stage, someone would need to then look into long-term care or nursing home, which would really be the final place that you would look to receive care. And paying privately for those types of services you're looking at $20,000 a month.
Oh my God.
So what people do in that situation is they will transition onto Medicaid, which we can assist with that process as well. Like I said, we have a lot of care partners. And then the insurance would eventually cover the long-term care. But what I've seen is veterans who are in their 70s that may just need a little bit of assistance with their daily living end up in a long-term care facility because there's not enough money to pay for those private services.
So what would you do then?
Okay, so that's where we come in and we say, what is available? What is available first? What do you have? What are your resources? What are your assets look like? What can we do to maximize what you already have? And what type of care is most appropriate for this person? In addition to that, we can help navigate what benefits are available through the VA medical. Is there a VA accredited home care agency in the area that we can make a recommendation for to get you those hours? Because the VA medical through the community care network will provide home care hours. Can we then substitute that with an adult day program where you go for the day and you can be taken care of at a day program, which the VA will cover 2 days a week for as well. In addition to all of that, there may be benefits on the pension side. One of the largest ones in particular is the aid and attendance pension, which will give a monetary monthly benefit to help offset the cost of care. So if we can piece all of that together in an appropriate care plan, there may really be more options to make this affordable.
Wow. It's, I mean, just listening to you, there are so many different options. There are so many pieces of the puzzle that I could understand could be very, very confusing for somebody who may feel overwhelmed about the different choices. Stan.
If somebody has PTSD, they stay overwhelmed. And they don't understand. They don't trust the government, especially Vietnam veterans. They don't trust the government. They don't trust the VA. They don't even trust the veterans organizations. That's why most of them are shrinking down, because they're not getting members.
You're talking about the organization is shrinking.
Yeah. Now you can get a lot of things to the VA. About 8 years ago, I had cancer. They took care of everything. And they had a person coming into the house every week to clean, and he's still coming. Why? Because I needed it then, and chances are I needed it now. I never asked for it. He comes in up to twice a week for a total of 7 hours, which is unbelievable. Try finding somebody to clean your house for 7 hours.
I could use that. Yeah. So what kind of challenges do Vietnam veterans really face that they can assist with?
The idea is to get more out of the VA. The VA is not, we try getting people from the VA to speak. We may be able to do it, but I may have to wait 1.5 years for them to show up.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, it's ridiculous.
Time frame. How quickly are you able to assist this veterans?
Well, I was going to say, in like Ocean County, we're very lucky. We have a veteran service office, which is very, very good. They're there for everything to try to get your benefits. So if you want to go get buried in the veterans, cemetery, you can. All you need is your DD, what they call the DD-214. This is a piece of paper showing that you're in the military and you were out honorably. That's all you need. As far as
you get help much quicker.
Oh yeah. Why? Because you have professionals helping you. Problem is it's a relatively small office, only about 10, 12 people. And just so happens Ocean County has 60,000 veterans. Ocean County is the biggest group of veterans of anywhere in the state. And most
60,000 veterans in Ocean County alone. In a small office.
In a small office they just built a new hospital. But sometimes you have to wait, God knows how long, before you see somebody. I have a regular doctor. I have to have one. I really go more outside. Why? Because to show up, you get medication to the VA. So I'm not paying for that.
That's very discouraging, to
what I'm telling you is that there is a real problem as far as having the VA coming out and saying, this is what we can do for you, and this is how we do it. This is what you need.
How are you able to expedite the process?
So, I mean, in a perfect world, the VA would be able to manage all of this readily, smoothly, quickly, and easily. But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world. So we can come in and assist. I've seen applications and benefits and things get approved fairly quickly in some areas, and some situations it takes a little bit longer.
What's a normal turnaround?
So at Veteran Care Services, we can start with our care plan immediately. So I have, let's say I get a referral, I'll just walk you through the process. I get a referral, let's say from assisted living community. Mr. Jones is looking to move in, but he doesn't quite have enough money to pay for these services. But we really think he needs the care. So they send me over the information. I send it to my intake team, and they reach out within 24 hours to the family to start with the interview process to see, you know, what they're looking for, what the affordability is. We explain, you know, how we work to come up with, because we are a private company, we're not the VA. And we explain our process, and then we, you know, go over, do you have the DD-214? Do you have marriage certificates, death certificates if we're applying for surviving spouse, for resources? We just go through all of it. If they have documents available that they can give to us, we can start prepping that file immediately. And a lot of times people reach out to us because they don't have their documents. So then I may have to first order documents for them to just kind of see what are the dates of service, you know, all of the things that are involved, and then it brings the process a little bit longer. Then it depends on, you know, where we're submitting. If we're here in Ocean County and it is very busy, it could take a little bit more time to go through the full system, opposed to some of
To manage people's expectations, how long?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I've seen care start within, let's say, 60 days, and I've seen it take upwards of 6 months to fully complete a package.
Oh, it could be longer than that too, especially if you're going for the money.
Right. So
It took me with everything I got. It took me 3 years.
Oh my gosh.
and we've met people that have just said, I've been trying to go through the system for 3-4 years without success, and they've given up. And I meet veterans that just say, nope, this is not for me.
Well,
And I say, why is this not for you? And they say, because it's too challenging to navigate through. So really having an organization such as Veteran Care Services to go through and help put all of the pieces in order makes it streamlines the process quickly.
Okay, for what is the price of less overwhelmed, being able to get organized and get the process go smoothly? Who pays for the services that you provide?
So I use the analogy, there's many avenues to get to your final destination. You can walk, you can ride a bus, you could take public transportation. But with Veteran Care Services, it is like hiring a 5-star car service to take you smoothly to your final destination in the most comfort and convenience. We don't have fees for all of our services. Some of them are included in the care package at no cost. But we do charge a fee for our services, which can come out of the benefits that are awarded at the end of the process. So we don't charge an upfront fee or an out-of-pocket
Okay, that's good to know.
Only once someone has gone through the whole process and has their care plan in place, we will get paid. And each case is a little bit different. It depends what they need. Are they looking for home care navigation? Are they looking for assisted living placement? Are they looking to just come up with a financial care plan, which would include us working through the processes of getting them approvals for their benefits, but we don't happen to charge for applying for benefits. We work under accredited attorneys.
Thank you for that clarification. You had mentioned earlier about survivors. Let's say, for example, a veteran passes, and obviously there's a widow or widower. So what can the surviving spouse get as a benefit?
Yep. So surviving spouse of veterans that are not service connected. Just to backtrack through pension, there's a pension called Aid in Attendance. It's not a new benefit. It has been around since 1954. It is available to wartime veterans, their spouses, and widows of wartime veterans who need assistance with their daily living. Outside of being 100% service connected, it is the largest resource through pension to pay for care. So a surviving spouse or a widow of a veteran that needed assistance with daily living that meets the eligibility requirements could receive $1,558 a month additional income for the rest of their life once they're...
Oh, that's good to know.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, a married veteran would get over $2,800 a
If
month.
they remarried, would they still continue to get the benefit?
Goes to the second wife, or the last wife, I should say.
No way.
The third or the fourth, depending on the veteran. But the last wife. So it is the opposite of Social Security.
Stan, what would you say would be your ultimate words of wisdom as a tip to veterans out there seeking benefits? Like, what is the one life hack, would you say, would help?
There's actually places, most of the organizations have, like we have over here, a service office where they'll help people get all the benefits they need. You could try them, and just about every county, at least in New Jersey, has a veteran service office. If not, you could also call the VA. There are other ways of doing it. Right now, the VA did expand certain things. There are certain smaller homes because there were so many people who applied and they have no room for them. There's only 3 veterans hospitals in the state. And one's up in Paramus, the other one in Menlo Park, and the last one down in Vineland. There are 300 bed hospitals, but there's a lot more than 900 people applying.
How do you get your name up on the list?
It depends on who you know.
Who should we be friends with?
It almost depends on that sometimes. You need somebody who really understands what's going on and knows how to fight the good fight and all that, and then you'll get there.
Is there like a level of disability that they consider so that you get priority?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
With 100%, even if you went to the hospital, they wouldn't touch your money. Most places where you go in, they take your money away first thing, and you live on what's a little bit left they leave you.
But there are ways to protect your assets and make sure that that doesn't happen to the best of the
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the VA home.
VA, right? So
They don't take 100% money.
correct. But there is a big misconception. We get calls all the time. Dad needs to go to the VA hospital and then stay there, and it doesn't work that way. And if you're not 100% service connected, you do have to pay, and they will allow you to continue to stay in lieu of Medicaid, but not if you have a lot of that.
What do you mean by 100% service connected? What do you mean by that?
Well, you have enough wrong with you that they feel that you can't function normally. It goes physically, mentally. Either way, they find that you can't handle your own life. You can't have a job. You can't hold a job.
From a service-connected injury,
Right.
something related to your time in the service, they will award a percentage how they feel, how much you can get monthly to compensate for that disability.
For 32 years of service, what?
Well, that's 2 different functions. I retired from the Army. I get paid from that. But I also get the VA, which is a separate bunch of separate money. There I'm getting 100%. They take care of a number of different things. Plus the state itself gives you certain things.
By the way, I'm very curious. We're neighbors. You live in an active adult community. How much of your mortgage or like cost of living is being paid right now by veterans?
Everything. Well, I have other things coming in besides that. So I have a retirement thing from my company I work for, and Social Security.
Yeah.
It does go up every year. So a veteran that is receiving 100% benefits is getting a little over $4,000 a month at this time.
Yeah.
Which is, look, it's never enough, right?
Yeah, right.
It's a nice amount, but it's never enough.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not worth what the veteran has gone through.
Yeah.
And this is a benefit that will not automatically transfer, but eventually transfer through a process to the spouse should a veteran pass away. Now, if a veteran is 100% service connected, they cannot, in addition to that, get a pension like the aid and attendance because it's already built into the care that they need and what they're receiving. So if a veteran is not connected, meaning they do not have a service connected disability benefit. They just need care through the normal aging process because they're in their late 80s or early 90s and they need assistance. That's when they could qualify for that other pension.
Oh my goodness, it really could be very confusing and overwhelming. And the fact that you're there to just be able to just present to them the different options and walk them through it so that, you know, somebody could explain it to us as though I'm a second grade person, you know what I'm saying? Because as I've said, the many layers of benefits could be missed out on, you know? And so I am also thinking you've had massive successes helping so many veterans. Can you give a real life example of how you were able to help somebody navigate the system?
So I've been with the company 8 years, so there's many, many examples. A few stick out in my mind. There was a gentleman in Monmouth County looking to go into a community, and the community reached out because he only had about $55,000 in liquid assets in the bank account. But he was a New York City police officer. He had all these pensions coming in. So he was receiving a nice income, but it wasn't enough to pay for the assisted living community. So we had to kind of go through, are you going to sell your home? Do you want to leave the home to your children? How are we going to get you enough assets to show that you can afford this? Because I think he had, like $7,000 or $8,000 a month income, but for the level of care he needed, it was about the same monthly, which would leave him at zero. And so he had 5 daughters. He wanted to leave the home to his daughters. He didn't want to sell the home, use that to pay for the care for the rest of his life and leave his children with nothing. And the community wouldn't take him because his assets were too low. So we had to go through the process, and we were able to help secure the home for his children, help him through the process to get additional income to pay for the care through the VA. And he ended up able to go and to move into that community. And it's not just for him, but he can now leave some kind of legacy to his family. What we see is people spend through their life savings in a matter of 2 years. And some communities, they want a guarantee that you can continue to pay for this. And if you can't, unfortunately, you can't always stay in that community, and that's when you have to transfer to a nursing home, and it's a different kind of lifestyle completely.
Well, I love that story, that you were able to actually meet all of his wish list. Like the wish list of leaving a legacy, at the same time being able to get the care that he actually needs. Yeah. Right, that's awesome. Stan,
Yep.
Vietnam Veterans Association, what exactly do you do for the state?
Well, we help on my level, we work with the different chapters, making sure that they can stay in existence. Vietnam veterans are dying off faster than World War II veterans have been. Why? We can only guess. We think probably because of Agent Orange. We don't know. But we're trying to get them in the help also. So we have people going to all the chapters so they can find out what they could do. Or sometimes we have to merge chapters together because they just got too small. But we still have I think 4,000 members in the state, but still it's very tough.
We have 60,000 veterans here in Ocean County alone.
Yes.
Why do we have such a large number compared to other places?
That's a great question.
Everybody wants to be by the shore.
We're happier by the shore. Yeah.
New Jersey in general has more people per square mile than anywhere else. It's one of the top 3 states for sure with the most populated communities. So I think that has something.
I thought all the while that, the veterans are saying, come to Ocean County. You're going to feel like your family.
There was one thing that I really like. If you're 100%, you don't have to pay property tax.
Oh, is that true?
Ocean County is was more affordable than some of the other places to live in New Jersey for a long time. So I think that drew a lot of people, and we have very large, active 55 and older communities, a multitude of them.
What did you say? Like, it's property tax free for veterans?
Yes,
Wow.
at 100%.
What was that?
At 100%. Now they're also talking about amending it slightly. So if, say, you're actually only 10% disabled, you could take 10% off your taxes and work your way up until the full 100%.
Yeah, that's actually like a great information to know. Oh, well, I'm not a vet, but because here in New Jersey, a lot of people.
Well, a lot of
leave
states
New
don't
Jersey
have
because-
that. A lot of states don't have that.
Yeah.
Most states don't have that.
As I was saying, like, here in New Jersey, a lot of people are moving out of New Jersey because we have very high property taxes. And so to get some kind of a relief if you're a veteran is, every little thing helps. Every little thing helps. Now, Shira, I'm sure so many people right now who are listening is like, oh my gosh, I could use her help. Because you obviously have presented a ton of information, a ton of options. Now, how would they be able to get in touch with you for a consultation?
So they can reach out to me directly. I give out my cell phone number to most of our.
Go ahead.
So if anybody wanted to reach me directly, they can just call 732-453-5793. My email is my name, Shira, SHIRA, at veterancareservices.com, or they can visit our website.
Now, is there a fee for consultation?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And a lot of our services we don't charge fees for. It's only if you want that full comprehensive financial care plan, which it's a lot of moving pieces involved. And like I said, even for that, we don't have an upfront fee or out-of-pocket cost. We only get paid if the veteran receives their resources to.
Where is this passion coming from? Where did it stem from?
I was born this way. I really was. Ever since I was a little child, I always wanted to be involved in community efforts. During middle school, I worked at the Children's Specialized Hospital in Toms River. I volunteered there. We love animals. We rescue animals. It's rewarding work. It really does make a difference.
You're such a beautiful person inside and out. And I have mentioned earlier that I actually met Shira because I belong to a group of HOPE. HOPE stands for Helping Other Professionals Excel. So this is us helping each other, disseminate empowering and educational information so that people can actually live becoming more resilient and empowered to be able to navigate life with a lot more confidence. You are an epitome of wisdom. Any last words or tips that you would share to veterans out there who are on the mend of being able to secure the benefits that they actually deserve?
The first thing I would say, no matter what they tell you, I want to keep on going. Because the veterans, the way they do it, the first thing they're going to say is either no, or they give you much less than you should be getting.
And what do you do when they say they give
you say, I want to refile this? You can keep the money that they offer you. You will start getting that. But you could also keep on going, and maybe in 3, 4, 5 months, you get a bump from the 30% to 50%. Now 50% is the big one in the VA, because after 50%, you don't pay for medication anymore.
By the way, if somebody like Stan is already getting benefits and realize that I might be missing out on some other things, would you be able to still assist them?
Absolutely.
Well, we go to different organizations for their help. Well, we have 50 members. We're not overwhelming, but most of them are not even real veterans.
Yeah.
And one of the things we said, we want veterans or people who want to help veterans.
How about Shira, what you were saying?
Right. So being that, let's just use Stan, for an example, he's in great shape, but should things ever take a turn and you needed that extra assistance, we can definitely get you affiliated with the Community Care Network. We work with a multitude of home care agencies, which it's very important to use an accredited agency because you have access to their nurse, the license, the insurance, the protections. What we see now is a lot of people are going on Facebook Marketplace for an aid, and they're bringing people into their home for a lesser cost and paying privately for a non-licensed caretaker, which we obviously don't recommend. But in addition to that, a VA accredited agency can get free home care hours for veterans in their own home, as well as adult day programs. If that is no longer an option and they needed to go into a community, we have placement services available where we can go with the family to the different communities, walk through and help negotiate the rate for them.
Oh, I like that word. You can help negotiate. Oh, okay.
Because when someone's overwhelmed and they go in, they're just kind of like, okay, I need to pay this, fine. Like, and
Because they're in desperation.
They wait till the last minute. So that's why having someone come in and work with the communities, we get a lot of communities will give like a 5% discount for veterans, but you have to ask for it, right?
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, if you don't ask for it, the answer is always no.
And when they
That's
see
it.
that there is a timeline, like maybe at this point you're not eligible to receive benefits because your finances are too high, that's great to go into a community. They want to see that. And then knowing that down the line, they will be eventually eligible to receive an additional, say, $32,000 a year income. The communities like that too. So that's where it gives me some wiggle room to say, let's get them in the door.
Is there any other question that I did not ask you that you believe could actually help others?
I think it's really important to reach out to the community, not just to the veterans, but also to surviving spouses or widows of veterans, because they have no idea they're eligible for anything once their husbands pass away, let alone an additional $18,000 a year tax-free income should they need any care. Our World War II and Korean War veterans, they're fading. There's not so many out there, but there are a lot of surviving spouses or widows of World War II and Korean War veterans that are out there that should know that there is help out there if they need it.
Well, thank you so very much. Stan, by the way, I heard they said you're now single, right?
Yes.
He's single and ready to mingle.
Truthfully, 2 days, I always said the communications here should be sold to the government. Because 2 days after my wife died, I got a phone call. I understand you're single.
So I don't think that that's part of the services that they provide.
No, it's not part of this. That's part of the service I wouldn't be taking either. Now, one of the things I did want to say, that, the VA hospitals, the three of them, one, they're excellent. They're very hard to get in. But once you're in there, if you want, your wife could go with you and stay with you in the hospital.
Wow, that's nice to know.
My wife's uncle ended up going down to Vineland. Her and his wife were both there.
Yeah.
And after he passed away, she stayed there. They don't kick her out.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting fact. Yeah, so anyway, thank you both so very much for such an enlightening segment. Shira, you are a wealth of information. I'm sure so many people will be reaching out to you. We're going to flash your telephone number and your email address at the bottom of the screen so you can continue to stay in touch with Shira so she can help you navigate all the options that you have to be able to live a life with more resilience, confidence, and more joyfully and more vibrantly without overwhelm and worry. And Stan, thank you. We're deeply grateful for your service and your wisdom and your wit. I love the outfit.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
And you're very stylish. I love that you are still out there serving our community. So thank you all so very much for joining us. I hope that you were able to get enlightened and get a lot of information that are available to you veterans out there. We thank you for your service and we wish you great joy always in life, good health, long life, and empowerment in everything that you do. Until next time, this is Ferlie Almonte from New Beginnings.